it would be a formatted print. And say, he said, say X is 0.65, like that. And you wanna print it out like just 0.65? Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you wanna get rid of the zero, so you could just say, in curly braces, X colon, 0.2 F.
X in this case is tax,
Yeah,
so I'll.
whatever, try that. This is saying, this is the formatted print. I think we're gonna get more into that today. Yeah.
Okay.
But this is saying print the variable X, and then this colon is saying, how do I wanna format it? I wanna format it with 2 decimals, only 2 decimals after the, and make a floating point. That should do it. Okay, let's get everybody in. Okay, good. Okay, let's see, did I have any? We didn't get to. Oh yeah, that's right, we did the, poll questions last time. Okay. And we did the in-class activity, we just didn't get to the rest of that, okay? And we didn't get to the prefect.
I got something a little wrong there. Should I still have tax be the same variable before that? Should tax exist still as equals 0.06?
Yep.
Okay.
You can say 0.06, or yeah, that's fine, that's fine. And let's.
Now it knows what that is, but what's wrong?
Okay, you don't say equal, just get rid of that, because you're just printing, and get rid of that. 106.
Oh, the whole thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
Okay. And-
All right, tax is defined there now.
Yeah, try that out.
Nope. Still leaving 0.
Let me see. 0.0. Why does it say 0.054? Oh, because you're printing it. Oh, it's tax of subtotal. Okay, I got it. Let's see. How do we get rid of that?
I thought the error was probably caused by tax, that tax is part of tax of subtotal.
It is printing it as a 2 point. It's printing it as a 2-digit floating.
Oh, do I need to do that to tax of subtotal as well?
No,
Okay.
no. Let's see, how do you get rid of the leading 0?
At one point I tried to just say if tax is less than 1 and I couldn't think of what to tell it to do.
I'm just forgetting right now.
Which I meant tax of subtotal. We'll try that out. If it were less than tax mod 1,
Okay, you could do that. All right. All right. I'll show you this. This is something new. Okay. We haven't learned this yet. We're going to get to this when we get to strings. Try this. Put a point right here, no spaces. L strip 0.
yes.
And that means left strip. So this,
It'll take the,
it's gonna take the zeros from the left and strip them off. I think it's gonna work.
I think I tried that before and did it wrong, so
Yeah, try
let's
that.
try it like that.
Yeah, try that out. we're gonna get to that when we get into strings, so don't worry. Man, Natalie is here, all right. Hi, Natalie. Haven't seen you in a while. I was like, still coming to class?
I was pretty sick.
Oh, you got sick? I'm sorry.
Is there a way to round, like, say the tax? Because right now, sometimes I'm getting like it's just like,
Yeah.
my tax like just repeating.
Oh, yeah. Oh, is it printing out a big old?
So it's just like, I just typed in a bunch of random ones and just gave it a long.
Yeah. Actually, we're gonna get in that today. You can do the same thing right here. This will print it with 2 decimal places. It'll make it a floating point number and 2 decimal places. And then if you want to get rid of the leading 0, did that work? The L strip?
Oh, it recognizes that it's L strip, but no, it crashed it, so I gotta find out why.
It crashed it?
Yep. Well, it threw an error, excuse me.
Let me test it.
None
You guys can
type.
see this? Okay, let me fire.
Object has no attribute. L strip.
No, oh,
Do I need to add?
let's try some. I'm gonna say x equals, what was it, 0.65? X dot L strip, you might have to import string. The float object has no attribute. Okay, so it's looking for. Let's convert this to a string and then must be none or string.
I really tried this to
Oh, wait, 0.
Okay.
There.
Oh, let me try that.
Yeah, so
Is it
you're
gonna
gonna have to.
be possible for it to
Well,
be
this is
string?
kind of a long process here. So you're gonna have to convert X to a string.
Still
And then you're gonna have to say L strip the string 0 out of there. So you could do all this inside of here. You could do it up here too. Let's see. Might be
Still
simpler to say X equals STRX. That converts, let's get rid of this. That converts, this is a float. That'll convert that into what looks like a string, which is a string. It's not a floating point number anymore. And then now you're printing out the string.
Okay, let's see. So tax.
Actually, you don't even need the 2F now, because you're just stripping the 0 off the string.
But before that, you're saying now it's gonna be tax equals string parentheses tax.
Yeah, tax equals string tax. So yeah, there's a couple ways to do this. You could keep it as a float. Oh no, you can't and use this because it's still gonna print the 0. So you do have to convert it to string.
Oof, I don't think I did that.
Was the requirements of this thing said it shows no zeros in front, the taxes? The requirements of this exercise, it doesn't show a leading 0? Is that right? That's what you saw, Tim?
Right.
Let's go look it up.
The example shows no leading 0.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't worry about it, guys. It's not, you can print a leading 0. It's okay. I'm not gonna mark it out. But this is a little further than I wanted to get to right now because you guys we haven't gone over the formatted print yet. We're gonna go over it right now in class, but I don't wanna jump too far ahead. You could also do, I think you can do modulus somehow,
Yeah, if you do modulus 100 and then append a dot at the beginning.
and then append a dot, you would strip that out probably.
Well, you would strip out anything in the ones place,
So,
regardless of what it was.
Oh well, then if you bought more than
I'm aware.
2 of either, okay.
yeah.
There's no clean solution. but-
Yeah, it's not a clean solution. Yeah, you're right. All right, let me make sure everybody's admitted here. Okay, good. Yeah, so keep coming to class. If you get sick, let me know and I'll mark you down. That it's like an excused absence kind of thing. And you won't get one of those emails. But you were sick? Yeah, but you're feeling better now? Oh, good. Okay, guys, so any questions about anything before we get into today's work? Oh, let me put up there what we're gonna cover today. Okay, so we didn't get through everything, which is fine, last time. So we did get through what the countdown timer in the online book is. It's just how far you've gotten through the book. It's not that you have 25 hours left. VS Code, change the colors. If you want to change the colors in your VS Code window, just hit the Control K, and then the Control T together, and it'll give you an option to change the color of your VS Code screen. You can make it white or yellow or whatever. We looked at input processing and output IPO. Remember that chart I had up here? And we looked at our next program, right? You guys, a lot of you have already got it written. It's not even due till next Tuesday, I think. So you guys are doing well. We looked at if-thens, if-then-elses, and then the if, elif, 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 and else, okay? We got that far. So let's see if we can cover Boolean logic, while, for, formatted print, augmented assignment, and right alignment. That's a lot to cover. But if we don't get to it all, no biggie. We'll just go as fast as we need to. I want you guys to understand it, so we'll just go as slow as we have to. See, what was your name again? We haven't seen Skylar in a while. Does anybody know him? Or you have him in any of your classes, Skylar? He was kind of sitting right back there. All right, so any questions before we go on about these top 5? Oh, I got my, where did I put it? I do have a pointer. Yeah. This is from my old, this thing is like 30 years old, when I was teaching Unix at the U of A. So it's kind of a, and now it's not working? Oh, crap. There it is. Oh, look, it doesn't, you can't see it on there. You can see it here. What the heck?
I can see it.
Can you see it? Oh, there it is. Okay, you have to be like looking right at it. Huh?
Yeah.
No wonder.
Maybe if the lights are on? I know, it probably wouldn't be.
But if I go sideways, look at it, like vanishes. I guess I could turn one of these lights off a little. I don't know if it'll help. Let's see which one. Not that one. So I need to point it straight at it somehow. Goodness gracious. It's not gonna work. Okay, so any questions at all about this stuff? If then else's, I know you missed that part, but Tim has been recording classes, right? And Tim, I'm gonna share your link before I forget at the end of the day with the other class. Because I'm teaching this same class online. And those guys don't have the advantage of all the stuff that I'm giving you, the extra stuff.
Okay.
Because I had a meeting with one of the ladies in that class last night, and she was using VS Code like totally wrong. She was in the debug mode every time, and didn't even know how to get into terminal mode. And I'm like, okay. But of course, if you take an online class, you know, you're kind of, that's what you have to deal with. Okay, so let's look at Boolean logic now, which is a pretty cool topic. I'm gonna turn this light back on. Let's look at Boolean logic. I'll put this thing up here. Which is the good pin? Not that one. Yeah, there we go, Boolean logic. We've looked at it a little bit, but we're gonna get more into it now. And it's not that hard. You have to memorize some things. And you just have to memorize it, that's all there is to it. That's you, Tim, there you go. Okay. So, remember when we have an if statement, and let's say I'm gonna set x equal to 5, for example. Then I'm gonna say if x is less than 10, then, this colon means then I'm gonna tab in and I'm gonna say print x is less than 10. Okay, so this little part right here is what we call a Boolean expression. And who can tell me what Boolean expressions evaluate to? True or false? True or false? Okay, good. Okay. So they're either true or false, okay? So what does this one evaluate true? Is 5 less than 10?
True.
That's true. Okay, so then we're gonna do this, okay? So now we're gonna look at logic of combining these things together. If we wanna make a compound Boolean expression with more than one, and how all that works, okay? And that's part of the logic. So let's write another if statement. We know x is 5. So let's make y equals to 3. I'll say if x is less than 10, and this is one of our Boolean operators. And, or, and not. There's 3, these are Boolean operators. Just like multiplication, division, they link together Boolean expressions. So I can say if x is less than 10 and y is less than 5, then I'm gonna print something. I'll just say success for now. You guys can try all this too. You can set all this up and try it right now and create a little Python script and test this stuff out. So here's a Boolean expression, and here's one. Okay. So is this true or false right now?
Have we
With
defined
x
y?
equal 5.
Oh.
True.
That's true. Okay, so I'm gonna put true. And if y is 3, is y less than 5 in this case? So this is true, right? Okay, so now we're getting into the logic, okay? So true and true, this is what you gotta memorize. And I'm writing it with a capital T because that's how you have to do it in Python. You have to write the first letter caps, true or false. This has to be capped. True and true equals true. Okay, you can type this in. I'll type it in right here. You can type this in. Let me get out of here for a second, make it higher for you guys. Clear the screen. Open up Python, and I can type true and true like that, just like that. You can test these Boolean expressions out right here if you type them correctly. So true and true is true, okay? So when we use the and, it means both of them have to be true for the result to be true. Both have to be true, okay? So that's what and means. And means both must be true. Okay, so let's write another one. How about if x is less than 10, and now we're going to say and y is less than 3. print success. Okay. So this first one, this is compound Boolean logic now. Compound meaning we've got more than one Boolean expression. So there's our first Boolean expression. Here's our other one. So what does this one evaluate to?
True.
True, okay. What does this one evaluate to?
False.
False, okay, good. So what is true? Oops, I'm gonna do true and false equal. Are they both true? Remember, for the and to work, they both have to be true, or they both have to be the same. So true and false is false. These are things you gotta memorize. Okay, and you can type it in here, true and false is false. So we're saying if x is less than 10 and y is less than 3, well, they're not both true in this, so we wouldn't execute this. This wouldn't be executed, this line here. Okay. Okay, let's try another one. Let's say if x is less than 4 and y is less than 3, we're gonna print, we'll just print high. Okay, so what does this one evaluate to now?
False.
Is 3 less than 4?
No.
That's false. Is y less than 3? No, it's equal to 3, but not less. So this is false and false. So what is false and false?
Very false.
Yeah. So the easy way to remember this is if you got the same thing on both sides, the result is that thing, whatever it is. So true and true is true. False and false is false. Okay. So you can see this is obviously, I'm saying if x is less than 4 and y is, well, neither of them is true, so we're not gonna print this at all. Okay? And if I were to say, and you can switch these around, what do they call that in math? Is it commutative property, where you can move things around, like 4 plus 5 is the same as 5 plus 4? I forget what they call that. So I could also say false and true. Remember, the and, they both have to be the same. So false and true, what do you think it is? False, yeah. Okay. So now we've got rid of every possibility for the and. So this doesn't matter. I could switch these two around. I could say if y is less than 3, wait, which one would that be? That would be this one here. Because y is less than 3 and x is less than 10. We're gonna do something. Print high. Okay, so this one we know is false. This one we know is true. So this is the false and true. And it's false. So not gonna print, not gonna print, not gonna print, that's gonna print, that's gonna print. So these are compound Boolean expressions. Because there's more than one, and we can keep going. We can keep going. All right. So any questions about the and? You guys just got to memorize this stuff. It's not that hard. There's not that many. Okay. So let's look, let me erase this stuff for right now, and let's look at the OR. Oh, I haven't done an eraser. Okay, let's look at the OR Boolean thing. Okay, so, let's say X is, what was it, what did I have it at? X is 5? Or what is it? 5 and Y is 3, okay. Okay, let's use OR now. If X is less than 10, or Y is less than 3, okay, we're gonna do something. I'm just gonna say print for right now, I'm not gonna put anything. Okay, so what does this evaluate to? True or false?
True.
Okay. And
False.
this
Sorry.
is false. Right? So or means one or the other. Is true. For the whole statement to be true. One or the other. Okay? So now we're gonna say true or false equals true. All we need is one or the other. Okay, this is the OR function. Okay, one or the other. So I didn't show you the first one. What if is X is less than 10 or Y is less than 5, we're gonna print something, just a blank line. So this is now true, right? And now this one's true. So true or true. Remember what I told you? If you got the same thing on both sides of the operator, it's always whatever that thing was. Okay? So true or true is obviously true. One or the other. Both of these happen to be true, so we're definitely gonna run this. Okay, so let's look at, so now we know true or false is true. How about false or true?
True.
Yeah, we just switched them and it doesn't change anything, so that's true. Now what's our last option?
Also false.
False or false. And remember when I said, if you have the same thing on either side of this Boolean operator, it is that thing. So it's false. All right, so let's make a false or false. We'll say if X is less than 4 or Y is less than 2, we're gonna print. That's false, so we're saying either one or the other has to be true for this to run. Neither of them is true. So nothing happens. This does not print. Okay. So now we're building up our memorization. So we've got the and now we've got the or. So this is one or the other. Must be true. What about not? Okay. So not is what we call a unary operator. Does anybody know what that means?
There's no
Unary?
Yeah.
opposite?
It only has one output.
Only one operand?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah. So, not, we would say, you could try this in your Python interpreter window. What do you think not true would be? Not true. False. False. It just flips it. And what do you think not false would be? True, yeah. So it just makes that thing flips it, true to false, false to true, whatever. So it operates on one thing. So if you were gonna say not, if, you can do this, you could say if not x minus 4, right? Or y is less than 2, not minus. It's only gonna operate on this one, because it's unary. It's only gonna look at, actually I think it's only gonna look at the x, to tell you the truth, if you have a space there. And you should always put spaces around all your operators. Your equal signs, your double equal signs, your less than, plus, minus, you should always put spaces around, just for readability. Python ignores all white space, okay? So spaces, tabs, blank lines, it ignores it. It's just more readable to have little spaces around everything. So the best way to write this and use the not is, if you wanted it to just look at this, you would just put this in parentheses. And then the not would operate on that. So let's look at this for a second. Is x less than 4? This is false, right?
Right.
But not false
Well, it's true.
is true. So this whole thing now is true. Or is y less than 2? No, that's false. So true or false is true. Right? So the not just operates on the very next thing to the right of it. It's unary, that means one, like uno. Uno means one in Spanish, right? This is kind of the same thing. Unary, one thing. So it operates on the thing right next to it. Now what if we wanted it to operate on the whole thing? We would say if not, we could say x less than 4 or y less than 2 and put parens around that. Then it would operate on this whole deal, which we knew this was false, right? Because this is false or false. So this whole thing was false, but not false is true. Okay? Okay, so you got to memorize the ors and the ands, which isn't that hard, and then the not. So not true equals false, and not false equals true. I know they're on two different boards. So questions about that? Is that clear at all, or?
Is everybody not getting this?
Not, that's right. Okay, good. So this is called Boolean logic. It's very important that you understand this. You just have to memorize it. The only thing that's weird is just always remember, if the same thing is on both sides, the result is that thing, either true or false. So false or false is false, true or true is true, true and true is true, false and false is false. And then you just got to remember, and they both must be true for it to be true, and or one or the other has to be true for the whole thing to be true. Okay. All right, so we're going to be doing a little bit of that in our group exercise. Let's look at something a little more complicated and see if you guys can figure it out here. Okay. And then we're going to get into while loops. All right. So let me make a little Boolean expression that's very complicated, semi-complicated. Okay. So we'll use x is 5, y is 3, and let's say, or actually, let me do it this way. Let's do it this way. I'll even make it simpler. Let's see if you guys can figure out this one here. Um, Okay. What is this weird thing equal to? Okay, so I don't even know what it's equal to yet. Let's figure it out. So what you do is you look at parentheses first. Things in parentheses, right? So let's start simplifying. What's false or false? False, right? Same thing on both sides. So we got false, and we have and. What's true or true? True and not. And we'll just put true here. Or false. Okay, so now we use the not because it's unary.
False and false.
It's gonna, so what is, you could actually kind of put parentheses in here to make it easier for you. So we're saying false and not true is false or false. And then what's false and false? False. False or false? False. False. So the whole thing is false. So let's test it out, see if I did this. We should be able to type this right in VS Code and see if it works. So it's, okay, false or false. And not true or true. Or false. So I think it's gonna be false. Let's see if I can. Yeah. So you're gonna get some goofy, long, multiple parentheses things. Always do the innermost parentheses first. Here there was not any innermost parentheses. There was just two sets of parentheses. This is like PEMDAS, right? Almost like PEMDAS. Parentheses first, then exponentiation, multiplication, division, addition. So do the parens first. Okay. All right. Okay, good. So no questions? You guys got that? Cool. All right. All right, let's look at while loops. I'll give you guys a break at 1 minute. Okay, let's look at while loops now. We're getting into looping a little bit. This is a really cool subject. Can I erase? Is it okay for me to erase this now? Okay. I'm going to leave this up here. So that's Boolean logic. You use that in all of computer science and electrical engineering. Same thing. You can also do, sometimes people will write false as 0 and true as a 1 in some languages. So, like in C, you can use that. While you can say while. I'll show you, I'm going to show you while loops right now, but in C, you might be able to do it actually in Python too. People might just say this would be a never-ending loop. You can just say while 1, while true. Just keep going. It's
Wait,
never.
I
It's
forget,
this
how do you
is
stop it
endless
first?
loop. You got to break. You got to type in break somewhere in here. To break out of it. Okay. But anyway, let's get into while loops. So 0 or 1 is also, some languages use that as true or false. Okay, so while loops. Okay, while
Oh, I have.
loops. Okay? We need what they call, a pre-read for this to work. Which means we need to read some variable first. And this would be a pre-read right here, before the while loop. Because we have to have a condition. So while loops, they need a pre-read, and they loop while the Boolean expression is true. We know about true and false now. So this is a pre-read, this line's a pre-read. We're reading it ahead of time, and now we're gonna put our while loop here. We wanna do something while something is true. We wanna keep doing it until it becomes false. So let's say while x is less than 10, we're gonna do something. So you need the colon, and then you need to end it. And let's say we're gonna say print, we're just gonna print hello. Okay. So there's a very simple while loop. While, this is Boolean. Is this true right now?
Yeah.
Okay, so while it's true, we're gonna print hello. And then we're gonna come back up and look at the condition again. Is it still true? Yes, print. Is it still true? Yes. This is gonna remain true because we've never changed x. We've never changed the value of x, okay? So let us change the value of x inside this. Let's increment x by 1. We'll say x equals x plus 1. Okay, so we're adding 1 to it. Okay, so the first time through, we're gonna print hello. Let's do this. I'm gonna write, this is called manually debugging. I'm gonna put the value of the print statement
Scroll bar now.
and the value of x over here. Okay. So we're gonna print hello, because x is 10, or x is 5. Okay. And then x is gonna become 6. 6 is less than 10, so we're gonna print hello again. Then we're gonna add 1, come back up. X is now 7. 7 is less than 10, so let's print hello. We're gonna add 1, print hello. Add another 1 to x, that'll be 9. We're gonna print hello again. And now, we get down here, so we printed hello, x was 9, now x is gonna become 10. Is 10 less than 10?
No.
No. So then, once x is 10, we jump out of the while loop, and we will begin execution right down here, flush left, whatever is next down here. We could just say print, done. So if I've done this right, you guys can try it. This should print hello 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, and then quit. Anybody type it in? Did you get that? Did it print 5?
I got 5, yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, so this is a while loop. While has to have a pre-read of some kind in order to read in this variable. And if I got rid of this and it just kept looping and looping, we call that an endless loop. An endless loop. That means it never stops looping.
How can I clear the terminal?
You have to type, there is a way to do it. You're still in Python, right, with the 3 greater than signs? You're still in the interactive mode?
I'm in BS,
hear you,
and
mean?
I had the loop go for a while.
Oh, just hit Control C.
Control C, okay.
Yeah, Control C will break out.
There we go, thank you.
Yeah. Control C breaks out. So we loop, we keep looping. We loop while the Boolean expression is true. Once it's false, we get out. Okay. We could put an if statement in here, and we could say if x equals 10, we're gonna break. That would be, so this would be an indentation here and 2 indents. So we could add more things in here. So once it got up to 10, we could automatically break. Or we could even say, if x equals 9, we could break. Okay. So you can have some other, and this is another way to break out. There's a break statement called break. It breaks out of the loop, and it would just keep executing down here. Jumps out. Okay. So this is a good way to do something a lot of times. Like looping is a great, you guys are now taking a quantum leap in programming when you can understand loops, because you can do a whole bunch of work real fast, right? You could say, well, x is less than 1,000,000, right? And you would print out hello like 1,000,000 times, real fast. Okay, it works super fast. This is a good way to handle lots of data. You want to use a while loop. Okay, and we can also use compound Boolean logic here too, right? So I'm going to write this over here. Is it okay for me to erase this part of the board? Let's make a compound Boolean expression in a while loop.
Okay, so this, yeah, so this stuff is, well, when you make it, it'll tell you that you've got this problem.
All right, so we still have y is 3, x is 5. So we could say while y is less than 5 and x is less than 10, we're going to do something. So this is a compound Boolean expression in the while loop. So this whole thing needs to be true. So y is less than 5, that's true. And x is less than 10 right now, that's true. Okay. And then we can print, we'll print high this time. And then we will increment x. What was my, okay, I'm gonna get to that in a minute, okay. Then we're gonna increment x only. X equals x plus 1. Okay. All right. Let's make this, let's change this to 7, sorry. So we don't have to go so far. Okay. So what's that gonna do? The first time it's gonna print high. And x, the value of x starts out at 5. Okay, prints out high, and then it increments x. 6. Y is less than 5, that's always going to be true because we're never changing y, but x, 6 is less than 7, so we're going to print high again. Then we're going to increment x, 7. Now it's true, and 7 is not less than 7, so now it's true and false. And we know true and false is false. So it's only going to print high twice. And then it's going to jump out of the while loop and keep executing whatever is below here. Okay, so this is a compound Boolean expression in a while loop. So basically, while whatever this is true, we're going to keep looping. We're going to keep looping If you don't have something that increments or changes this condition, it's an endless loop. All right? So we got about 7 minutes. Any questions on while loops? Everybody understand? Yeah?
The increments can be subtracted before.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I could say x equals x minus 1. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly, good point. Okay, so now that you understand while loops, let's look at for loops. Okay, they're almost the same, but you don't need a pre-read. We don't need a pre-read. Okay, let's erase this stuff here for a second. Okay, so we don't need this stuff here. We could say there's a function. I need to teach you a function right now called the range function. There's a built-in function called range. And if I say range 5, what that does is it outputs what we call an iterable list. So I forgot to tell you, each time that we go into the while loop, it's called an iteration. An iteration. So each time we come in here, that's one iteration. That's what they call it. It's one time through. Each time through is an iteration. So range will spit out an iterable list. And it'll spit out 0, then 1, then 2, then 3, then 4. It starts at 0 and goes to 1 less than that number. Okay? So I can say for, and usually people use I as the counting variable here, in range 5, we're going to print I. That's a very simple for loop. Okay? So the first number it spits out is 0. So I becomes 0, and we print 0. So this is going to be the output. Then I is going to become 1, and we print out 1, then 2, then 3, then 4. Okay? So we don't, in this case, we don't have to say I is I plus 1. We don't have to do that because range is already doing that for us. Okay? So don't need this. We don't need to, this is called an increment, by the way. That's a new term probably. I haven't told you. So to increment means to add something to a variable. To decrement means to remove something. So if I said I equals I minus 1, that would be a decrement. We would be decreasing it. This is increasing it. Okay, increment and decrement are two other terms. Okay. So let me, I'm going to erase this for a second. So we could print I. We could also say, we could print, we could do something different if we wanted. If we just wanted to do something 5 times, we could do this. We could say print hello. And that would print hello 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 things here. Even though it starts at 0, it's going to go 5 times. That's what the range means.
Was that instead of print I?
That's instead of print I. If you wanted to print hello out 5 times,
Okay.
or you could say, I wanna print hello and I wanna print I, because remember, the print function can take multiple arguments. So this would say hello 0, hello 1, hello 2, hello 3, hello 4. Okay, so, this is how the for loop works. We have an initialization. The first step, there's really 3 things that happen in a for loop. Okay, the first thing is initialization. Of the, we call this a counting variable. Or, well, we'll call it a looping variable. Same thing. This is a variable I. People use I a lot. So we initialize it. It's really initialized to 0. And then we check the Boolean condition. If it's true. And this one is it's just spitting out 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're not really checking anything here. And then we do the increment or decrement. And that all happens automatically in this one little line. It gets initialized, we check it, we know it's within that range from 0 to 5, and then it automatically gets incremented to the next line. Okay. Yeah, I think that's all. There's some more arguments to this, and I'll show you those maybe in another class. But there's ways to start high and count downwards. And there's ways to count by more than 1 at a time. You can put commas in here, put some different numbers in here. So you can count up by more than 1 or down by more than 1, if you want, with this range function. Okay, I'm gonna let you guys go for 10 minutes, so come back 10 till. Walk around, get some fresh air. And then maybe we'll have enough time to get through the rest of the stuff. Yeah, we covered a lot. Boolean logic, for and while loops.